Ladies and gents, welcome back. So there's been a lot of people claiming what the stated goals of the convoy are over the past few weeks. We've gone as far as Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, New Democratic Party. They're the I guess you could call fringe party. So there's three parties in Canada. There's the Conservatives, the Liberals, and the NDP. And the NDP has the least amount of power. I get okay, maybe the Green Party. They have one person in Parliament. Is the fringe party possibly? Anyway, Jagmeet Singh in recent times has made the claim, the proclamation that the truckers are main objective is to overthrow the government, which most people realize that he pulled out of his other word hole. The truth couldn't be further from that. Anyway, it wouldn't take much more than a quick Google search to find their official website to find out exactly what their stated goals are in all of this. But I digress on that. Last night, Benjamin Dichter published an open letter to our premiers, elected appointed officials. Now, obviously, he's trying to get the point across that, hey, I know what you say we stand for. Here are this is our official point of view. But this is the open letter to our premiers and our elected officials, or elected and appointed officials, and the mandates and the vaccine passport. This is why we're here. I mean, it hasn't been very complicated. It hasn't been very convoluted. It hasn't been a very big message, as far as I understand it, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment. But as far as I understand it, it's been all about the mandates. That's it. Everything else is just conjecture. We began our Freedom Convoy with a clear destination, restoring our freedoms for our families, our neighbors, and our country. We arrived in Ottawa 20 days ago, taking a stand for our future. We have given hope and power to freedom-loving Canadians and beyond. People from around the world are now standing with us and want their freedoms back. Today, February 17th, 2022, we continue to inspire millions of Canadians and resolutely demand the return of their freedoms. We have furthermore become the model, the beacon of hope for citizens across the globe. The government imposed restrictions in an effort against the COVID-19 pandemic, which rescinded many of our liberties and our protections. They have been worse than useless. For instance, families have become separated. Children whom require intimacy and play for their educational and social development are suffering the consequences of inhumane isolation. Small businesses, especially the service industry, can no longer survive with limited capacities. Mental health issues and issues such as drug addiction, alcohol dependency, and suicide have increased several-fold. Now I'm just going to interject here. This is all substantiated by Hopkins University. They just released a study recently. If I still have the link for that, I'll put that in the description down below. The list of harms is too many to document here, and the others will emerge with time. All we can do now is heal the damage that you have done. The concept of freedom in quotes, here is not an idea. We have materially felt its loss. Otherwise, we would not be on the streets. Many of us now having nothing to lose. This is our line in the sand. This is where we hold the line. Once we arrived in Ottawa, we experienced a truly Canadian gathering. The Sikh communities shared food with everyone. Dance parties were set up. Concerts with sea shanties were held. Children drew thank you cards for truckers. And handed roses to police officers in between playing street hockey, drinking hot chocolate, and jumping in bouncy castles. We have heard Canadians far and wide. We communicate what has been conveyed to us. The message is clear. End the mandates. End the vaccine passports. This is why we are here. We are calling on all governments in Canada to restore the rights and freedoms of Canadians and set concrete limits so governments can't easily abuse our rights and infringe on our freedoms once again. This message is as follows. We call upon our governments to restore the rights and freedoms of all Canadians. End all vaccine mandates. Number 1, end federal, provincial, and municipal vaccine passports. Number 2, end masking requirements. Number 3, provide financial protection for small businesses harmed by COVID restrictions. Number 5, respect freedom of choice without discrimination. Furthermore, Canadians want assurance that our governments will not repeat the same mistake again. We propose the following steps be taken to ensure this. Number 1, Supreme Court of Canada review of government actions. We need to know whether our rights under the Charter mean anything. We call upon federal governments to initiate a constitutional reference question to the Supreme Court of Canada about the constitutional validity of the COVID laws and restrictions. Number 2, a public inquiry of government's response to COVID. As a matter of national importance, Canadians call upon the federal government to appoint a fully independent and impartial public inquiry on the government's handling of COVID responses. We need to know that what went wrong, what caused governments to so easily trample on the rights and freedoms and cause so much harm to our people and our nation. For the inquiry to be effective, the following conditions must be considered. A, the inquiry members are to be selected by an all-party preliminary process. B, it must contain a thorough examination of the science, internal communications, policy responses, and consequences. C, it must be commenced by March 20th, 2022. And D, it must be made public in the interest of transparency. The Freedom Convoy has achieved so much already. In fact, we have revived the Canadian identity and our culture, which openly accepts every person with love. We all have a choice. Please join us and Canadians who seek freedom. This can be a part of our legacy. We are uniting Canadians across the country and will accept your support, even if you previously have been reluctant. This is not about the past. This is about the future. You too can be on the right side of history. End the mandates. End the vaccine passports. Yours sincerely, Freedom Convoy 2022. Wow. That was pretty powerful, actually. That was pretty powerful. So that is the message, the open letter. Now, in recent times, there's been these notes being passed around Ottawa telling protesters that they, basically threats saying, we're going to do all these things. That's the prerogative. This is the feeling on the ground.
Are you prepared to lose your truck?
Yeah, absolutely. Come take my truck, do whatever you got to do. That's fine. Well, because it's just a material possession, right? Freedom is freedom is something much more than that. So take my possessions, put me in jail, sue me, do whatever you got to do.
Are you prepared to lose your truck?
That's the feeling on the ground. And so the convoy has their own lawyer. They have their own lawyer, and this is the legal advice from their lawyer to people who are thinking about going to Ottawa this weekend.
We're here with Keith. This is our legal representation out here. He's got a little bit of info for you for the letters that have been being left on everybody's doorsteps by Ottawa City Police today. This is important information. Everybody needs to get this out. Keith?
Hi there. I'm legal counsel to the not-for-profit Freedom Convoy. The federal government released a new proclamation last night under the Emergencies Act, and the legal wording of it is clear. It doesn't say what the police are telling you it says. It clearly, the legal proclamation that was issued by the federal government continues to allow for peaceful protests. It allows for peaceful assembly. It allows for Canadians who are concerned about their charter rights and who want to bring their children to participate in the restoration of their future rights to come to Ottawa. The order says that you can only not come to Ottawa if you're going to disrupt international trade, disrupt critical infrastructure, or engage in acts of violence. No one involved in this freedom movement, none of the truckers support any of those things. So if you're thinking about doing those things, don't come and give your head a shake. Yep. We're about peaceful protest. This emergency order from the federal government does not restrict Canadians' rights of peaceful assembly. However, what we can see on the ground here is the police look to be gearing up. It looks like the federal government is going to tell the police to go and use violence against lawful protesters. And one way to stop that from happening is Canadians who are concerned about their rights and government overreach to come to Ottawa as soon as you can get here and stand with the truckers. We believe the police are reluctant to follow this. If they follow what the federal government's telling the police to do, it will be an illegal order. It will be unlawful. So if you come and stand with the protesters, it will make it harder for the police to act on what they're being told to do. And it's really important that freedom-loving Canadians get to Ottawa as soon as possible to stand with the truckers and exercise their legal charter rights of peaceful assembly.
We'll be here, guys. Remember, peace is the only way out of this. The only way to win with a tyrannical government like what we have right now is to stand up to them. We can't back down. We've come too far. We have to follow this through. Thank you, guys.
And if you've made it this far in this video, I want to thank you guys for coming out and listening to a dyslexic mechanic read you a open letter. Keep on trucking, guys.